The richest place on the planet is not the diamond mines of South Africa, not the oil fields of Saudi Arabia, not the gold reserves of Fort Knox. The richest place on earth is the cemetery, because buried in the ground are businesses that were never started, books that were never written, songs that were never sung, inventions that were never created, and destinies that were never fulfilled. And I want to submit to you today that you are one decision away from joining that graveyard of wasted potential, or you are one decision away from becoming the masterpiece your manufacturer designed you to be. The question is not whether you have time. The question is whether you will stop wasting the time you have been assigned. Let me be clear from the beginning. You don't need motivation. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes with your feelings, with your circumstances, with the weather, with your bank account. What you need is revelation. You need to understand who made you, why you were made, what you were made to do, and how much time you have been allocated to accomplish your assignment. When you get revelation, motivation becomes irrelevant, because you are operating from purpose, not passion. You are functioning from design, not desire. And when a thing functions according to its original design, it doesn't need to be pushed or prodded or cheered on. It simply does what it was manufactured to do. Here is what most people don't understand. Time is not just passing. Time is being spent. Every single day you wake up, you are spending a non-renewable resource that you can never get back. You don't save time. You invest it or you waste it. And the tragedy I see every single day is people wasting their time building someone else's dream, maintaining someone else's vision, while their own assignment sits in a warehouse collecting dust. You were not created to be a supporting actor in someone else's production. You were created to be the star of your own assignment. But you will never step into that role until you stop wasting time on activities that have nothing to do with your original design. Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. This is not just a catchy phrase. This is a universal principle. When you don't know why something was made, you will misuse it. You will use a screwdriver as a hammer. You will use a smartphone as a doorstop. You will use your life as a time filler instead of a world changer. And the reason so many people are wasting time is because they have never discovered their purpose. They are living by trial and error, by accident, by comparison, by whatever opportunity shows up next. But your manufacturer did not design you by accident, and your life is not supposed to be random. You were engineered with precision. You were coded with specificity. And until you go back to the manufacturer's manual and discover what you were built to do, you will continue to waste the most valuable currency you have been given. Now, let me dismantle some lies that are keeping you trapped in a cycle of wasted time and unrealized potential. The first lie is this: I don't have time to build myself because I'm too busy surviving. Let me submit to you that this is the exact thinking that keeps you in survival mode. You believe that once you get more money, more stability, more resources, then you will have time to work on yourself. But that day never comes, because you are spending all your time maintaining a life that was never designed for you in the first place. The manufacturer did not create you to survive. The manufacturer created you to dominate, to rule, to exercise authority in your domain. But you cannot dominate what you have not developed. You cannot rule what you have not prepared for. Building yourself is not a luxury you engage in after survival. Building yourself is the strategy that ends survival and initiates dominion. The second lie is that building yourself is selfish. This is one of the most destructive deceptions in human culture. You have been taught that focusing on your development, investing in your growth, spending time sharpening your gifts is somehow self-centered. But consider this: if you are a surgeon and you refuse to study, refuse to practice, refuse to develop your skills because you think it's selfish to focus on yourself, how many people will die on your operating table? Your lack of development is not humility. It is negligence. It is malpractice. It is robbery. Because everyone who was supposed to benefit from the fully developed version of you is now being shortchanged by the underdeveloped version of you. The greatest gift you can give the world is not your sacrifice. The greatest gift you can give the world is your fully realized potential. The third lie is this: I will build myself when I find my purpose. This is backwards. You don't find your purpose and then start building. Building yourself is how you discover your purpose. Purpose is not hiding in some mystical location waiting for you to stumble upon it. Purpose is embedded in your design. It is coded in your gifts, your passions, your experiences, your burdens. But if you never develop your gifts, if you never explore your passions, if you never process your experiences, if you never investigate your burdens, how will you ever extract the purpose that is already inside you? The manufacturer put the answer inside the product. But you have to do the work of excavation. You have to study yourself, test yourself, refine yourself, push yourself, and in the process of building, purpose reveals itself. The fourth lie is that building yourself takes too long. You look at where you want to be, and you look at where you are, and the gap seems insurmountable, so you don't start. But let me give you a principle about time. Time is going to pass, whether you invest it or waste it. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The only question is, will you arrive empty or full? Will you arrive the same or transformed? Will you arrive with regret or with results? The person who says they don't have time to build themselves will look back 5 years from now and realize they had all the time in the world. They just spent it on activities that produced nothing of lasting value. Meanwhile, the person who made the decision to invest 30 minutes a day, 1 hour a day into their development is now operating at a completely different level. Same amount of time passed. Radically different outcomes. The fifth lie is that you need permission to build yourself. You are waiting for your employer to send you to training. You are waiting for your spouse to approve your growth. You are waiting for your friends to validate your ambitions. You are waiting for your parents to understand your vision. But let me tell you something about your manufacturer. When the manufacturer created you and placed you on this earth, the manufacturer gave you everything you need to fulfill your assignment. You already have permission. You already have authority. You already have access. The only person stopping you from building yourself is you. And every day you wait for external permission is another day you waste the internal potential that is screaming to be developed. Now let me teach you the kingdom principles that will shift you from time waster to world builder. The first principle is this: you are a solution to a problem. The manufacturer does not create anything without a reason. Everything that exists because it solves a problem. Your lungs solve the problem of oxygen distribution. Your heart solves the problem of blood circulation. The tree solves the problem of oxygen production and shade provision. And you solve a problem on this earth. Somewhere in the world, there is a problem waiting for you. There is a need desperate for your solution. There is a gap that only you can fill. But if you don't build yourself, if you don't develop your capacity, if you don't sharpen your skills, you will never be equipped to solve the problem you were designed to address. And that problem will remain unsolved. And the people suffering from that problem will continue suffering, not because you don't have the potential, but because you wasted your time instead of building your capacity. Think about it like this. Imagine a pharmaceutical company develops a cure for a deadly disease. The cure works. It's been tested. It's effective. But the company refuses to build the manufacturing plant. They refuse to train the staff. They refuse to establish the distribution network. What good is the cure if it never reaches the patients? You are that cure. Your gifts, your talents, your unique combination of experiences and insights make you the answer to someone's prayer. But if you don't build the infrastructure, if you don't develop the system, if you don't prepare the delivery mechanism, the cure stays in the laboratory and people keep dying. Building yourself is not optional. It is your moral obligation to the people who are waiting for the solution you carry. The second principle is the law of potential. Everything the manufacturer creates is made with potential. An egg has the potential to become a chicken. A seed has the potential to become a forest. A baby has the potential to become a president. But here's what you must understand. Potential is only realized through process. You don't become what you could be by accident. You become what you could be by intentional development, by strategic investment, by disciplined execution. And the tragedy is that most people die with their potential still locked inside them because they never engaged the process. They never built themselves. They spent their entire lives being the egg when they were designed to be the eagle. Let me give you 7 keys to unlocking your potential through intentional self-development. Key number 1, study your design. You cannot build what you don't understand. Spend time examining your gifts, your strengths, your natural inclinations. What comes easy to you that is hard for others? What problems do you notice that others overlook? What injustices burden you that others ignore? These are clues to your design. Document them, analyze them, look for patterns. Your manufacturer left fingerprints all over your design, and those fingerprints point to your assignment. If you ignore your design and try to build yourself according to someone else's blueprint, you will waste time building a version of yourself that was never supposed to exist. Key number 2, invest in education. And I don't just mean formal education, though that has its place. I mean systematic learning in the area of your assignment. Read books, take courses, find mentors, attend seminars, watch tutorials, study case studies. Your manufacturer gave you a brain capable of storing vast amounts of information, but that storage capacity is meaningless if you never fill it with relevant knowledge. The difference between someone operating at 10% capacity and someone operating at 90% capacity is often nothing more than information. They have access to knowledge you don't have because they invested time in learning while you invested time in entertainment. Stop wasting time consuming content that doesn't build you and start consuming content that equips you for your assignment. Key number 3, develop your skills. Knowledge without skill is like a car without an engine. It looks good, but it doesn't go anywhere. You can know everything about leadership, but if you have never led anything, you don't have the skill. You can know everything about writing, but if you have never written anything, you don't have the skill. Skill comes through practice, through repetition, through failure, through adjustment, through persistence, and this is where most people quit. They want the result without the rehearsal. They want the mastery without the mistakes. But every expert was once a beginner who refused to quit. Every master was once an amateur who kept practicing. If you want to build yourself, you must commit to the process of skill development, even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when you fail, even when no one is watching. Key number 4, guard your time. Time is the currency of earth. You cannot buy more of it. You cannot borrow it. You cannot save it for later. You can only spend it. And how you spend your time determines what you build. If you spend your time on social media, you are building someone else's empire. If you spend your time complaining, you are building a monument to your dissatisfaction. If you spend your time gossiping, you are building a reputation of untrustworthiness. But if you spend your time reading, practicing, creating, serving, solving, you are building a legacy. You are building capacity. You are building influence. Audit your time. Where are your hours going? What are you building with the 168 hours you are given every single week? The person you will be 5 years from now is being constructed by how you spend your time today. Key number 5, surround yourself with builders. You become like the people you spend time with. This is not opinion. This is observable reality. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will become a complainer. If you surround yourself with consumers, you will become a consumer. If you surround yourself with quitters, you will become a quitter. But if you surround yourself with builders, with dreamers, with doers, with people who are committed to growth, you will be pulled upward. You will be challenged. You will be inspired. You will be stretched. And you will become a builder yourself. Stop wasting time with people who have no vision, no discipline, no commitment to growth. I'm not saying to be arrogant or unkind. I'm saying to be strategic. Your assignment is too important to be derailed by associations that drag you down instead of pulling you up. Key number 6, create systems. You will never build yourself through random bursts of effort. Motivation gets you started, but systems keep you going. You need a daily routine, a weekly rhythm, a monthly checkpoint, an annual review. You need to schedule your development the same way you schedule your job, your appointments, your obligations. Because if you leave it to chance, it won't happen. Life will fill every available moment with urgency, with demands, with distractions. But what is important is rarely urgent, and what is urgent is rarely important. Building yourself is important. It is critical. It is foundational. But it will never feel urgent until you create a system that makes it non-negotiable. Decide right now. What time every day will you invest in building yourself? What habit every week will sharpen your skills? What practice every month will measure your progress? Write it down. Put it in your calendar. Treat it like the appointment that determines your future, because that is exactly what it is. Key number 7, measure your progress. What gets measured gets improved. You cannot build yourself effectively if you have no way to track your development. Are you reading more books this year than last year? Are you creating more content? Are you serving more people? Are you solving bigger problems? Are you earning more influence? Are you developing deeper skills? You need metrics. You need evidence. You need proof that your time investment is producing results. And when you see progress, it fuels momentum. When you see growth, it inspires commitment. When you see transformation, it silences doubt. Keep a journal. Take before and after assessments. Document your journey, because the data doesn't lie. Either you are building or you are wasting. Either you are advancing or you are stagnating. And the only way to know which one is happening is to measure. Let me tell you a story about a young man who came to me years ago. He was frustrated, discouraged, stuck in a job he hated, making barely enough money to survive. He told me he felt like his life was going nowhere. So I asked him a simple question. What are you building? He looked at me confused. He said he wasn't building anything. He was just trying to get by. And I said, that's your problem. You are spending your life maintaining instead of building. So I gave him an assignment. I told him to take 1 hour every single day and invest it in building himself. Not watching television, not scrolling on his phone, not complaining to his friends, but reading books in his field, taking online courses, practicing his skills, creating a portfolio. He looked at me like I had just asked him to climb a mountain. He said he didn't have an hour. He was too tired after work. He had responsibilities. He had obligations. And I said, then you will stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life. Because the person who says they don't have time to build themselves is really saying they don't believe their future is worth 1 hour a day. That conversation hit him hard. Something shifted. He made the decision. Every morning before work, 1 hour, no excuses, no exceptions. He started reading. He started learning. He started creating. And within 6 months, he had developed a skill set that his employer noticed. Within a year, he had been promoted. Within 2 years, he had started his own consulting business on the side. Within 5 years, he had left his job entirely and was running a thriving company, employing 15 people and generating multiple 6 figures. Same person, same 24 hours in a day. The only difference was the decision to stop wasting time and start building himself. And now when I see him, he tells me that the hardest part wasn't finding the time. The hardest part was believing he was worth the investment. Now let me tell you about another principle that transformed my own life. I was studying the process of how buildings are constructed, and I noticed something fascinating. Before the workers ever show up, before the materials are ever ordered, before the first brick is ever laid, there is a blueprint. The architect creates a detailed plan of exactly what the building will look like when it is finished. Every room, every wall, every window, every door. Everything is designed on paper before it is constructed in reality. And then the construction team follows the blueprint. They don't make it up as they go. They don't improvise. They don't guess. They build according to the plan. And it hit me. Your manufacturer created a blueprint for your life before you were ever born. The design exists. The plan is complete. The specifications are precise. But most people never consult the blueprint. They just start building randomly. They add rooms they were never supposed to have. They skip floors they were supposed to construct. They use materials they were never designed to handle. And then they wonder why their life feels chaotic, unstable, unfinished. You cannot build yourself effectively without the blueprint. And the blueprint is found in your purpose, in your gifts, in your design, in your assignment. Go back to the manufacturer. Study the original plan and then build accordingly. Stop wasting time constructing a version of yourself that was never supposed to exist. Here is what I need you to understand right now. This moment is not an accident. You are not reading these words by chance. This is an interruption from heaven. This is a divine disruption designed to wake you up from the sleep of wasted time and unrealized potential. Some of you have been asleep for years. You have been going through the motions, following the path of least resistance, living below your design, settling for survival when you were created for dominion. And today is the day you wake up. Today is the day you stop making excuses. Today is the day you stop blaming your circumstances, your upbringing, your education, your economy, your government, your family. Today is the day you take full responsibility for the fact that you have been wasting time. And today is the day you make the decision to start building yourself. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how far behind you think you are. I don't care how many mistakes you have made. The manufacturer specializes in resurrection. The manufacturer takes dead things and brings them back to life. But the manufacturer cannot resurrect what you won't bury. You have to bury the excuses. You have to bury the victim mentality. You have to bury the laziness. You have to bury the fear. And when you bury the old version of yourself, the manufacturer will raise up the new version that has been waiting in the wings for permission to emerge. Now, let me show you how to stop wasting time and start building yourself with precision and power. First, you need to wake up to the reality of where you are. Answer these questions with brutal honesty. What have you built in the last 5 years? What skills have you developed? What knowledge have you acquired? What problems have you solved? What value have you created? What legacy have you established? If your honest answer is nothing or very little, you have been wasting time. That is not condemnation. That is diagnosis. You cannot fix a problem you won't acknowledge. And the first step to building yourself is admitting that you have not been building yourself. Most people live in denial. They tell themselves they are doing their best. They tell themselves they are too busy. They tell themselves they will start tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Wake up. Look at the evidence. And let the gap between where you are and where you were designed to be become so uncomfortable that you cannot stay there another day. Second, you need to remember who you are. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not average. You are not ordinary. You were engineered by the greatest manufacturer in the universe. You were designed with precision. You were coded with purpose. You were loaded with potential. You carry solutions the world desperately needs. You carry gifts that are unique to you. You carry an assignment that only you can fulfill. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You started believing the lies. You started accepting mediocrity. You started settling for survival. Today, you remember. Today, you reconnect with your original design. Today, you reclaim the identity the manufacturer gave you before the world told you who you were supposed to be. Third, you need to decide. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Right now, you need to make the decision that you will no longer waste time. You will no longer drift. You will no longer wait. You will no longer make excuses. You will start building yourself today. This is the point of no return. This is the moment everything changes. Because a decision is not just a thought. A decision is a commitment. A decision is a declaration. A decision cuts off every other option and burns the bridges behind you, so you cannot retreat to the comfort of wasted time. Decide right now. Say it out loud if you have to. I will no longer waste time. I will start building myself. I will invest in my development. I will pursue my purpose. I will fulfill my assignment. I will die empty. Fourth, you need to act. Decision without action is delusion. Here are your immediate next steps. Step 1, within the next 24 hours, identify the one area of your life that needs the most development. Is it your knowledge, your skills, your health, your finances, your relationships? Pick one. Don't try to fix everything at once. Pick the area that, if improved, would have the greatest impact on your ability to fulfill your assignment. Step 2, within the next 48 hours, invest in that area. Buy a book, enroll in a course, hire a coach, join a program, schedule an appointment. Make a financial investment that creates accountability. Free rarely produces transformation. When you pay attention. When you invest, you commit. Step 3. Within the next 7 days, create a daily system for development in that area. What will you do every single day to build yourself? 30 minutes of reading, 1 hour of practice, 15 minutes of planning. Define it, schedule it, protect it. Step 4. Within the next 30 days, measure your progress. What evidence do you have that you are growing? What skills have you developed? What knowledge have you gained? What habits have you established? Document it. Celebrate it. Let the progress fuel your momentum. Step 5. Within the next 90 days, share what you are learning. Teach someone. Write about it. Create content. Serve someone with your developing skills. Because what you teach, you master. What you share, you solidify. And when you start serving others with what you are building in yourself, you activate the principle of multiplication. Your investment starts producing returns not just for you, but for everyone around you. Now hear me clearly. The enemy of your destiny is not your past. The enemy of your destiny is wasted time in your present. Every day you delay building yourself is another day you rob the world of the solution you carry. Every week you spend on activities that don't develop you is another week the people who need you continue suffering. Every month you waste in mediocrity is another month your potential sits in the graveyard. But it doesn't have to be this way. You have the power to change. You have the authority to decide. You have the capacity to build. And the time is now. I decree over your life right now that the season of wasted time is over. I decree that the fog of confusion is lifting and the clarity of purpose is emerging. I decree that the spirit of procrastination is broken and the discipline of daily development is activated. I decree that you will no longer be a consumer but a creator. You will no longer be a spectator but a builder. You will no longer waste the precious time you have been given but invest it with wisdom, with intention, with power. I decree that 5 years from now, you will look back on this moment as the turning point. The day you stopped drifting and started building. The day you stopped wasting and started investing. The day you stopped surviving and started dominating. Your manufacturer did not bring you this far to leave you where you are. Your manufacturer invested too much in your design to allow you to die with your potential unrealized. Your manufacturer has already prepared the assignment. The manufacturer has already positioned the resources. The manufacturer has already ordained the outcome. But the manufacturer gave you free will. The manufacturer will not force you to build yourself. The manufacturer will not drag you into your destiny. The manufacturer has made everything available, but you must make the decision to access it. You must make the commitment to develop it. You must make the investment to activate it. So here is my final charge to you. Starting today, build yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Build yourself like your family depends on it, because they do. Build yourself like your community depends on it, because it does. Build yourself like the world depends on it, because it does. Invest 1 hour every day in your development. Read 1 book every month in your field. Create 1 piece of value every week. Serve 1 person every day with your growing skills. And watch what the manufacturer does with a life that refuses to waste time. Be original, not a copy. Be a solution, not a complaint. Be a builder, not a waster. Die empty, not full of regret. The time is now. The decision is yours. The potential is waiting. Start building yourself today. And if this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to stay connected to more kingdom principles that will shift your life from wasted potential to realized purpose. Your assignment is waiting. Stop wasting time. Start building yourself. The world is waiting for the solution you carry.